Have you ever watched a chess master sacrifice their queen to win a game, knowing it's the right move, but feeling sick about it anyway? That's exactly what's happening across the NBA right now, as championship-contending teams are forced to make soul-crushing decisions that could either elevate them to glory or send them spiraling into mediocrity. Welcome to the most ruthless month in professional basketball, where loyalty dies at the altar of luxury tax calculations and Super Bowl-caliber talent gets traded like poker chips. The summer of 2025 isn't just another offseason, it's a reckoning. While fans are still digesting highlight reels and debating MVP candidates, front offices are engaged in a high-stakes game of financial Jenga, where one wrong move could topple years of careful planning. And right now, 3 stories are emerging that perfectly capture this beautiful chaos. Ben Simmons potentially finding redemption in Boston, Jonathan Kuminga becoming the centerpiece of a Phoenix resurrection, and the Cleveland Cavaliers contemplating a trade that could haunt them for years. The Ben Simmons redemption arc nobody saw coming. Let's start with the most shocking development. Ben Simmons, the former All-Star who became basketball's most polarizing figure, is drawing serious interest from the defending champion Boston Celtics. According to Hall of Famer Mark Stein, Boston joins Phoenix, New York, and Sacramento in the Simmons sweepstakes, a sentence that would have seemed impossible just 2 years ago. But here's where this gets fascinating. The Celtics need Simmons more than they're willing to admit. With Jayson Tatum sidelined for most of the upcoming season due to injury, Boston faces a defensive identity crisis. Tatum wasn't just their leading scorer. He was their Swiss Army knife on defense, capable of switching onto anyone from point guards to power forwards. That versatility doesn't grow on trees, and Simmons, despite all his offensive limitations, remains one of the league's most gifted defensive players. The irony is delicious. Simmons, who was essentially run out of Philadelphia for his playoff failures, could find salvation with the team that embodies everything the Sixers couldn't become: championship-level execution under pressure. Boston's culture, forged through years of playoff battles and championship expectations, might be exactly what Simmons needs to rediscover his confidence. However, there's a massive elephant in the room: fit. The Celtics built their championship foundation on a simple philosophy: drive and kick for three-pointers, repeat until opponents surrender. Simmons is the antithesis of this approach, a non-shooter in an offense that lives and dies by perimeter shooting. Adding him would force Boston to fundamentally alter their identity, trading their threes and that's-it mentality for something more complex and potentially less effective. The question becomes, is championship-level defense worth sacrificing offensive simplicity? For a team facing life without their best player for most of the season, the answer might be a reluctant yes. Phoenix rising. The Kuminga gamble that could change everything. Meanwhile, in the desert, the Phoenix Suns are making moves that scream desperation disguised as brilliance. After watching their Big Three era crumble faster than a house of cards in a windstorm, Phoenix is reportedly targeting Golden State's Jonathan Kuminga in what could be the most underrated storyline of the summer. According to sources from the Arizona Republic, the Suns have genuine interest in Kuminga, though they acknowledge the uphill battle they face due to limited draft capital and assets. But here's why this potential move is genius wrapped in madness. Kuminga represents everything Phoenix needs and Golden State doesn't want to pay for. The Warriors find themselves in an impossible position. They've committed to maximizing Stephen Curry's remaining prime years, which means prioritizing veterans who can contribute immediately over young talent that needs development time. Kuminga, despite his obvious potential, was literally benched by Steve Kerr during crucial playoff moments. A damning indictment of where he stands in Golden State's championship hierarchy. For Phoenix, Kuminga solves multiple problems simultaneously. He's a downhill north-south player who thrives in transition and attacking the rim, skills that complement Devin Booker's playmaking perfectly. Unlike in Golden State, where Kuminga's style clashes with Curry's need for space and ball movement, Phoenix's system would allow him to be the explosive athlete he was born to be. The financial mathematics make sense too. The Suns can offer role players like Royce O'Neal or Dylan Brooks, Veterans who would actually help Golden State's immediate championship aspirations more than a project player who needs minutes to develop. It's a classic win now versus build for later scenario, and both teams have clear motivations to make it work. Cleveland's crushing decision. The Dean Wade dilemma, perhaps the most heartbreaking story, involves the Cleveland Cavaliers and their potential decision to trade Dean Wade, a player who embodies everything right about modern basketball but might become a casualty of salary cap mathematics. The numbers tell a story that should make every Cavaliers fan sick to their stomach. Cleveland is 88-37 over the past 3 seasons with Wade in the lineup, including a remarkable 52-16 record last season. That's a 57-win pace across multiple seasons, championship-level basketball. Wade isn't just a role player. He's the epitome of winning basketball, a defense-first forward who evolved into a deadly three-point shooter while bringing championship-level physicality. Yet, here Cleveland sits, contemplating trading him because they can't afford to re-sign him after this season. Wade is an unrestricted free agent next summer, and the cap-strapped Cavaliers face the brutal reality of potentially losing him for nothing if they don't move him now. The cruel irony is that teams are lining up for Wade's services. The Dallas Mavericks have been fans for years, and with a former Cleveland assistant on their coaching staff, the connection makes perfect sense. Chicago could use his shooting and defensive versatility. Multiple contenders from both conferences have expressed interest, according to Cleveland.com sources. This is where the modern NBA breaks your heart. Wade does everything right. He defends multiple positions, shoots over 40% from 3, rebounds with intensity, and impacts winning without demanding touches. He's the kind of player that championship teams are built around, the glue guy who makes stars look better. And Cleveland might have to trade him because they can't afford luxury tax payments. The Celtics' impossible choice, Simons and the second apron adding another layer to this summer's complexity, is Boston's continued exploration of trades involving newly acquired Anthony Simons. The Celtics brought Simons in as part of the deal that sent Drew Holiday to Portland, but now they're discovering that good players don't always equal good fits. Simons is undeniably talented. He averaged 19.3 points for 0.8 assists and shot 36.3% from 3 last season. He's exactly the kind of scorer Boston needs with Tatum sidelined, but the Celtics are trapped above the second tax apron, facing harsh penalties that could cripple their future flexibility. Sometimes addition by subtraction becomes the only viable strategy. The bigger issue is positional need. Boston desperately needs frontcourt help after losing Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Kornet, and Al Horford. Having Luka Garza and Nemias Queta as your primary center options is a recipe for playoff disappointment. Simons, despite his scoring ability, doesn't solve their most pressing need. The broader truth: championship windows are cruel masters. What connects all these stories is the unforgiving nature of championship windows in the modern NBA. The Celtics are trying to maintain championship-level talent while navigating punitive tax penalties. Phoenix is desperately trying to reopen a window that slammed shut when their Big Three experiment failed. Cleveland is watching a perfect role player slip away because of financial constraints. Golden State is choosing veterans over youth because Curry's prime won't wait for development. These aren't just roster moves. They're referendum votes on how teams view their championship timelines. Every decision carries the weight of future regret, and front offices are forced to make calculated gambles with incomplete information. Ben Simmons joining Boston could be the redemption story of the decade or a chemistry-destroying mistake. Kuminga in Phoenix could unlock both player and team potential or prove that talent without the right system is meaningless. Trading Dean Wade could provide Cleveland with assets for a playoff push or haunt them for years as they watch him anchor another team's championship run. The human cost of mathematical perfection. As we dissect these moves with analytical precision, it's worth remembering the human element. Players' careers hang in the balance, families get uprooted, and legacies get written based on decisions made in sterile conference rooms by executives who never have to face the fans' reactions. The NBA's financial complexity has created a system where being good isn't good enough. you have to be perfectly optimized or face obsolescence. Teams that built chemistry and continuity find themselves forced to break apart winning combinations because of luxury tax implications. Young players get traded not because they lack talent, but because their development timeline doesn't match championship urgency. This summer's roster shuffling represents more than just strategic maneuvering. It's a reflection of a league where mathematics often override human relationships and winning cultures get sacrificed for financial flexibility. The coming months will reveal whether these calculated risks pay dividends or create chaos. But one thing is certain: the 2025-26 NBA season will look dramatically different than anyone predicted, shaped by decisions that prioritize future flexibility over present chemistry. These moves could define the next championship era. Which story are you most invested in seeing play out? Are the Celtics making a brilliant defensive upgrade with Simmons, or walking into an offensive nightmare? Share your predictions in the comments below, and smash that like button if you want more deep dives into the moves that could reshape the entire NBA landscape.